Welcome to the Scientific Investor channel. Today we can see that cryptocurrency market is looking a bit green. Last 24 hours is looking good. Now if we look at Bitcoin SV, it has just pumped 42% in last 24 hours, and if we look at that in the last 7 days, it's 62%. Now if we look at Bitcoin Cash, it's the next one in the last 7 days, which has pumped about 20% in the top 10. Now if we look at XRP, we can see that last 1 hour it has been pumped 1.5% and 4% in last 24 hours. We'll actually look at the technicals, go through the chart, analyze it, and I will discuss our perspective about what's happening with the support or resistance area, how the price is actually developing. Before that, we'll actually go through some of insightful informations from Twitter. Now we have some through just the posts, and some from government documents, and some from videos, and especially this one we have a lot of information from this. If we go through say 13 minute, then 45, 49, like that, we have actually some key points being spoken by these important individuals. Now prior to jumping on that, I would like to request you guys, if you guys like the content I provide on a regular basis, please do support the channel, hit the subscribe button, and if you like this video, please like the video. If you have any comments or suggestions to improve the content, please do let me know in the comment section below. Now there's the first one from I Am the Legion, and that is showing you that the adoption strategy. It's showing micro payments, then web payments, there is internet protocol in between, then digital assets, blockchain, mobile money, banks, central banks. So then it's highlighting that online wallets. So here it's marketplace. So for example, it's actually going to come up soon. We are actually preparing that. Now I will connect this with this one. In this video, if you look at this, two guys from this were already talking about, like, we are investing in a company like this, but we just want to know whether it will happen in US. So in that context, this is actually going to come really soon. That means if not in US, it's going to actually come out in somewhere else. Now this is the next one from Real XRP Boy, and showing that and that's correct. There are definitely some people who think we should have stuck with the store of value use case for the community credit use case, but now as they have done the payments, now this becomes more viable as the value of XRP goes up. So it's gonna happen soon, and it's no wonder that real institutional customers are using and finding value in XRP, and governments, regulators, and central banks are increasingly recognizing the role it could play in global system. Now for that particular aspect, if we go through this video, we'll actually understand that it's the established reputable investors who are talking about that, and some governments putting out files showcasing this. So the next one is actually from King Solomon, showing Ripple partner Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority releases draft of payment service provider regulatory guidelines on January 5th, 2020. So in this one is actually highlighting this file which we have just opening here. So in this draft, we directly search for say Ripple. Now we don't have anything. Then we'll check for XRP. We don't have anything. So that means they are not actually naming it directly, whereas they will be having statement like payment service providers. Now we'll just copy the payment service provider and paste it in the service. Then go to just check what's there for us. Like there will be something related to payments, settlements, and all. So we'll actually go through that. But before that, we'll just jump on to the next one. Now this is Mac Attack XRP with Ripple. Will Ripple replace Swift? If you ask me, it's not a question of whether Ripple will replace it. Now it's his perspective, right? And thus you can actually see that some are like blurred out, in which you can actually say PayPal here and here. So I don't understand about that. Anyway, regarding Visa, it's here and here. So it's actually showing you the originating institution and the beneficiary institution, and a Ripple in middle. So yes, in future, if this is gonna happen, most of them actually want to do that. Instead of paying someone in 2 to 3 days, settling that in 2 to 3 days, why can't you do that in just under a minute with 1 of 10 of fees for that. Say if you're paying $10 for Swift, you need to pay even you don't even have to pay $1 for XRP payments, right? Now this next one from XRP called, and it's showing you that central bank digital currency units in CODA and usage model. Here if you look at this, what you can see is the state template, and it's showing the token SOK SDK standing for software development kit, provides standardization, definition and patterns for representations of assets in CODA integer, choosing while maintaining adherence to those core units, and can in essence turn central bank digital currency into programmable money. So that's converting that into a programmable money. So it's going to happen soon. It won't take much time, right? They are actually working on that, and once it is complete, it will come out. Now this is from Ian Northing, and it's showing the World Bank warns of global debt crisis as borrowing increases. Now yes, if this is gonna happen, it's gonna be I don't think it will be a recession. Instead, maybe it can be a depression where the economy will be sinking like 40-50%, because I think it's gonna happen from the 1970s or 1930s when that kind of a market crisis hit. Now there's the next one from John Wick showing the burn rate of XRP is going too high. So it's actually showing that say per minute around 24 XRP is being burned, and this for hour, day, month and year. So we are still in the initial phase of a marathon, and if this is the burn rate, think what will be the burn rate when we move a lot faster with, say, if we have 1,000 institutions working on this. Yeah, they are working on Xcurrent with the 300 or 600 customers, but if they are coming into the on-demand liquidity area, then this will be in multiples of that, 10, 20, 100, right? Now the next one is actually showing cross-border transactions key to connecting Asia. Now yes, considering the Western countries, say the developed nations like US, UK and all, UK is comparatively better in this particular aspect because they have actually laid out some clear regulatory framework. In one of the video we played in last video, we came to know that like inside the Congress they are actually asking the same to the Fed, like what is happening right now. The companies are actually leaving, the capital is leaving to say Switzerland, UK, Singapore and all. So if you guys want to listen to that, please click on this video, you'll actually get that. Now this one is the next video, and in this you can actually understand the clear perspective of what they are actually stating. So I'll just play that.
Here, take a step.
We can't let it pass us by.
Right. We are already behind. In other words, the payments modalities in Asia are much better than they are in the United States. And this is not, but it's not primarily a regulatory problem. It's primarily a legacy issue associated with the credit card companies. Because the payments system in the United States is the only place I've seen in my career as a technology investor where the introduction of technology caused the price to go up. Usually, we've had these cost curves that drive prices down, like we talked about in securities trading. But in payments, they've gone up because Apple Pay adds a quarter, Stripe adds a quarter of a point, Square adds maybe even a point more. So payments go from 2% to 2.25 to 2.75. That's actually ripping off the consumer and making financial inclusion harder to accomplish rather than easier. And if you actually thought about the broader purpose of this kind of organization like this, you ought to actually be out there facilitating the introduction of technologies to take these prices down, to increase consumer.
Now the next interesting part in this comes around 45 minutes. Now I'll actually directly play that for you guys.
Crypto kind of world. I got to this from the kind of the payments thing because I've been looking for a way in which we could take the cost of payments down by 99%, the way we've taken out the cost of trading and securities. In the payments world, we use the term, we oftentimes use the term of the payments rails. There's the credit card rails, there's checking rails, there's the Fed wire rails. moves around. So let's to understand how I think to think about the cryptocurrency world is there are three parts of it: the blockchain, the token, and the protocol. And the three of them operate together to create one solution, one integrated solution that has the capacity to revolutionize the way we move things of value around the world. Let me use a railroad analogy to make the point. The token is the equivalent of the boxcar. It's the thing into which you embed something of digital value that needs to be moved from one place to another, from one part of a blockchain to another. The blockchain is the cargo invoice, is the invoice.
Now we knew this analogy, right? Brad Garlinghouse usually used to state how the XRP is going to change the existing framework. Now, the next interesting part actually comes here around 49 minutes, 45 minutes. So I'll play this for you guys.
Us both attacking sort of the same problem. The friction in the payment system is huge. It's not seen by the consuming public. It takes away from their purchasing power because they just pay the marked price. But the seller, the retailer, gets 97 or 96 or 98 cents on the dollar when they go turn in their credit card receipts or their payment receipts. They just know they're getting less than par every time they sell you something in a store. If the retail seller could get par, this is the interesting question, would the prices come down 2 or 3%? We don't know the answer. But someone eventually would probably figure that out. With the amount of technology and digital sales and digital outlets, you know it will happen. It takes one first mover.
The power of shopping is unbelievable. Once people can see prices and shop, prices
exactly right. The market has become pretty efficient, pretty transparent. And there are a bunch of companies out there that will basically take your grocery list today and put it in the computer and tell you what grocery store in your neighborhood to go to where your all-in grocery list will be the cheapest. And so you'll get more and more evolution on this space.
All right, well, any last thoughts on this space? I think this has been a tutorial that
I just think that we ought to come back to, at the end, consumer welfare, because that's kind of what we're after, right? And that's not necessarily measured in prices. It's not necessarily measured in productivity. It's not necessarily measured in GDP growth or inflation. But the extent that you are offering something to a consumer that's better, faster, and cheaper than what they had before, that's a good thing.
Yep.
And the way we add it up on our economy and talk about it needs to be subsidiary to that insight. And policy needs to address the change, needs to be able, just like we talked about with crypto, just like we talked about now with Fed policy, it needs to change what tools it uses.
That is really great, right? They are talking about what tools you're going to use.
Uses how it addresses that based upon how the economy changes in the pursuit of greater consumer welfare, rather than try to use old tools and old frames of reference to understand.
Now you got that. Rather than using the old framework, take out the new tools to solve the existing issues. So that's, the on-demand liquidity or the Ripple net to travel with, instead of going with the traditional system which has been laid out, from decades, 40, 50 years back. So that's all for that. And now we are actually looking at the chart of XRP. Now in the 4-hour chart, from our last talk, it's not moving much. Yes, we have actually touched the resistance line and came back a bit down. But yes, we got supported in this particular area. So that's actually good news, considering that, say, the previous resistance area was turned as a support now. So yes, again, we have resistance here at 0.22, but if we are to move above that, that's gonna be huge. The reason why I state that is if you look at the stochastic RSI, MACD, and at the same time the price which happened previously, like the fluctuation, if you compare this, we actually notice, we have discussed this in our previous video. We can see that there was 3 touches with that resistance line before the uptick or the blast. Or if you actually draw a line like this at little tilted, you can see that after the second try it went up. During the second try it went above, then it consolidated above, retested it twice, and then went up. It depends how you actually draw your line connecting the support and resistance. So if you are to draw a line like this, then it will take some time before going up. So to be precise, we'll actually measure that. It's 16 days, which happened last time, but yeah, it's not sure or necessary that that will happen same year, but still to get idea about that, we'll go to 16 days, right? So that's the 21st January, so 10 days more to go for that. But yes, it's crypto market and it's market cycle, anything can happen, right? Yeah, the pattern will be rhyming itself, but that doesn't mean that the price will be repeating everything it did previously. Now here, if you look at this, now you can actually know that here the price was actually stagnant kind of here at this box, whereas now the price is actually moving to the upside, right? At the same time, you can see the MACD is traveling to the upside, the stochastic RSI is moving to the upside. Now if you go zoom a bit out and look at it on a weekly chart, you can actually see a green candle here in the price action. Then it's actually being followed by another green candle here. So that's the third green candle in continuity. And if we are able to break about this particular level, which is 0.225, I personally think that that's going to be a bullish signal here. And at the same time, you can see that the MACD is at the verge to cross to the upside. So if that happens, that's going to be really enormous for the buyers. So most of the buyers will be coming in at this particular point when it's at the bottom. Now when you get a confirmation that the price is actually going to the upside, say a breakout from here and break cross of MACD to the upside, then that's going to validate that the price movement is going to continue to the upside. So guys, that's all for today, and we can see the price is actually moving to the upside, and we have to see what will be happening during the weekend. So we'll come up with updates tomorrow morning with all thing going around, all the interesting insights we will actually cover. If you guys actually want to get all of this plus additional insights, I've actually retweeted almost everything in my Twitter account. So that's XRP Danny, so you can follow that at XRP DNI1. Now again, I would like to request you guys, if you guys like the content I provide on a regular basis, please do support the channel, hit the subscribe button. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.